Here with Privateers pitching coach AJ Battisto. And AJ, first of all, obviously the season upon us here starting on Friday with the Andre Dawson Classic here against Southern, and just your overall look at the staff here. Some guys that obviously bring some experience back, especially in the weekend, of course, with Chris Turpin kind of leading the way there, and Brandon Mitchell, who certainly got a lot of innings as a freshman in multiple roles, but a lot as a weekend starter as well.
Yeah. Overall, I'm ecstatic about our pitching staff. We definitely have an older pitching staff, which is a great thing. I think our average age might be 21 and a half, 22 years old, which is good. I like working with older guys. These guys have worked really hard. I think they've put in the work day to day, and that's what I'm most excited about. We have a pretty solid senior group. Chris Turpin obviously is back. He's going to man up the opening day. For us, and we expect him to log 100 innings. That's my goal, that's Chris's goal, and his goal is to win 6 to 8 conference games this year. And then adding Brandon Mitchell. We're not sure exactly when we're going to start Brandon Mitchell yet. We don't know if it's going to be the first couple games this weekend or if we start him against Southern Miss. We're not sure, but Brandon, again, my goal for Brandon is to get around 100 innings along with Orzie. Orzie's really has worked extremely hard to bounce back from the adversity he's come back from. And in all honesty, there's been quite a few MLB organizations to come out to watch him. And with his combo of his fastball sitting in the low 90s with a swing and miss split, I'm super excited to see those three guys kind of take off. With the addition of Bailey Holstein, you know, he's going to be a guy that we think can do a mix of both things. He's started some last year. He also threw out of the bullpen. This year we're going to start him off as a starter. And really, what is the biggest question mark isn't because of talent that we have. It's mainly just experience. We are unsure of who's going to step up in the bullpen. We have, you know, 4 or 5 guys that we trust that have produced in the fall and in the early spring with Colin Colvin, Matt Delcom. Eddie Emerson has pitched probably close to 100 innings at the University of Maine, and we expect him to come in and pitch, you know, a good amount of innings for us as well as a high amount of appearances. And same thing with Lampkin, Jake Lampkin. We really feel that he's going to be able to come out. He's in really good shape. We feel like we could throw him 3 out of 4 games, and he's going to bounce back and be sharp every outing. So that's kind of where we're feeling there. And then, you know, along with some of the other guys like Kyle Kashadorian, he's a guy too he's going to get some starts early on, and we're just going to see how our staff pans out. Because in the end, we need to figure out how to use our staff to give us the most amount of wins.
And you mentioned, obviously, about Eric, who is certainly a tremendous story, and you mentioned about the adversity that he's come back from, and poised, obviously, to come back on the mound this year. And part of the beauty of it as well is you have guys that have been used in different situations, so offering that versatility. You mentioned about Bailey Holstein and what he was able to do, kind of flipping back and forth between different roles. A couple of other guys, and Cortland Ramirez and Chris DeMeo as well, who were in multiple roles last year. So really, like you said, it's a little bit about mixing and matching early, but there are guys that are kind of used to going back and forth between different roles.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about Cortland and DeMeo as well. They both have shown some good strides, particularly with Cortland's slider and his changeup now. He's worked very hard, and Chris DeMeo, we actually were working. We had some early work that we were doing earlier in the day, and he's responding well to that. Chris obviously has a wipeout slider, so we can use him against lefties. We can use him against righties. Last year, lefties hit under 200 versus him. I think particularly they hit 194, which is super exceptional. So we know that we can use him against lefties, but I want to try to expand his role. He's going to get a couple starts here and there, and like I said, by conference, everything is going to shake itself out to see where we can best use everybody.
You were here, of course, in the first days when the Privateers came back into the Southland as well, and just talking about what maybe a lot of people don't know is that this pitching staff was among the top as far as pickoffs and caught stealings as well, and certainly that's one of the elements that you were able to bring to the table the first time around. And just talk about that and working on pitchers' moves, and of course with the catchers behind the plate and the defensive prowess.
Absolutely,
of those
the running game in college baseball is, you know, it's fast moving. A lot of people are trying to create a lot of havoc. you know, the first things that I always preach to our pitchers is if you get the first out of every inning, you really don't have to worry about fake bunt steals, straight up steals, hit and runs, running hits. You don't have to worry about all of that. You just kind of shut the offense down. But we all know that not everybody gets the first out of every inning. So yes, in the fall, we would daily work on pickoff moves. We work on certain counts, when to throw pitches up in the zone that allows our catchers the freedom to maybe stand up a little earlier, not as a pitch out, but just up in the zone, gives them a little better feed to throw runners out. And we just try to really change our looks, our timing. We all know good runners hate standing there. So if we have a good runner on, you know, what we do is just we try to produce long holds and so on and so forth. I don't want to give all our keys away, but right. Those are some of the things.
And obviously working with the catchers as well defensively, and of course with Jorge Tejeda and what he was able to do, especially behind the plate last
Absolutely.
year as a freshman, just really impressed as far as his pop time and his ability to throw runners out and really kind of a race-based runners. And you have some depth in that position as well.
Absolutely.
Defensively.
Yeah, we do. We have depth with Tejeda and Bratton and Murphy, and all three, again, those three guys are early work, late work. They're all trying to get better. The receiving aspect of things with Tejeda is exceptional. From a pro standpoint, I mean, I've thrown to some really good, you know, pro guys. He looks like one of those guys that can receive the ball. And it's always comfortable throwing to a guy that's going to catch balls and produce strikes. Pitchers love that. And so Tejeda brings that to the table, and then obviously he's got the great footwork that allows him to throw out runners. And Bo and Murphy both have been working extremely hard on developing their receiving, catching that low ball for strikes, and those guys are working. And I enjoy being around them. They want to work, and I'm excited to see our battery come together and just have a really solid year.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Absolutely, thank you.